origin of Mahayana Buddhism. You see, so only the beginning part of Mahayana Buddhism, the later part, their teaching, their text, their late philosophy, all this we don't talk because it's too long. We only talk about the origin, that's all. It's all good enough for 2 hours. You see. So first thing, the most important books we refer, or you can refer to, is Paul Williams' book, Mahayana Buddhism. This is most popular book around. Most university, when you say Mahayana course, they recommend this book, standard book. Other than that, we can't find a good textbook. Either it's too difficult, too specialized, or out of date. Like D.T. Suzuki's book, written about 50 or 60 years ago, they are out of date. Other than this, there's a Narina Sadat's Mahayana Buddhism, also out of date, not so good. I see, but we still we prefer to use the modern books. Paul William, the British professor, University of Bristol. See, so never mind. And then, but for this lesson, most of the information I got it from Bhante, Dr. Dharmapala's notes. He, based on his lecture for the USA and KCBA diploma student last year, you see. The first lesson, but his one is too difficult. I just simplified, extracted the relevant parts, you see.
But
So,
Brother Yap, did Bante extracted it from his thesis?
I don't think. Bante's this thesis on what, what topic? Savastivada.
Oh, Savastivada. No, Mahayana,
Expert in Savastivada, because his supervisor, Dr. Dharma Jyoti, also a world-class scholar on Savastivada.
Oh, okay.
So he followed the masters. In fact, the Sri Lanka, the Kerala assigned Professor Dharma Jyoti to be my supervisor.
Is it? Wow.
But because this Kerala, the internal communication, this, that, for 3 years never reply me. So I give up, don't want to do.
Oh, you mean initially you were taking the PhD also lah?
I already signed up, approved topic, everything. They also give me assign two supervisor, one external, Dharma Jyoti, one internal, their own. One local one is our Bhante Dharmapala. So when I say I want to pay the fees, give me the payee's name, bank account. They give the bank account number without payee's name. So that I wrote and reminded that 3 years ago until now, no reply. So
yeah, like that one. Sri Lankan is like that one.
The Kelaniya University lah.
Even my cert also, you can take 1 over year just to produce.
Yes. For example, your case, Kelaniya. Case I met, the sister
Catherine.
Catherine J. Finally. Even
1 over year.
KCBA, USJ diploma, also a lot of problem.
Yeah, like that one.
For us, no problem. To them, when we want to ask them to confirm this, that, 1 year or so, no reply.
They never come back, okay?
But you are not the only one taking, Brother Yap. There are other students, right?
Sister Rebecca also gave up.
Also gave up because no answer on the account name.
No answer, also fed up. Then Bhante Jasasi told us, Singapore, in collaboration with them for the donor diploma program, also after 3 years, also give up. Then I asked Bhante Jasasi, Bhante Jasasi say, like that. That's why the country bankrupt.
That's why their culture, their working ways like that one. Okay, I know.
Then Bhante Dharmapala advised me, anything you want, any doubt or payment, take a flight straight to Colombo
Ah,
and pay with it. I say,
aiyo.
kamu cham lo, small thing go there,
Ya
small
lah.
thing go there. Habis lo.
You
So
must have your
better
own
don't do.
private jet.
It's better to study there actually, to go Sri Lanka,
You go
study
there, no problem.
personally at the
Anything, ask
university.
them, you see,
Right.
on
Yeah.
then. But you do it online, oh,
Yo, tak yeah.
Bante Dhamapala did his online or he studied there?
Bante Dhamapala, Hong Kong U.
Hong Kong U
You
lah.
see, Hong Kong.
It's
One
not
of the
the,
best.
he's not Kelaniya lah.
Kelaniya only up to master.
Oh, okay. But
Okay.
Brother Yap, you're talking about PhD, is it?
Yes.
For you, PhD.
Hong Kong.
Or PhD Hong Kong, but you have to.
No, I mean
Huh?
Bante Dhamapala. For me, it's Kelaniya.
Or your
So we
PhD
give
is,
up.
you want to do with Kelaniya lah, the PhD.
Kelaniya, because our MA also Kelaniya, IBC.
Why don't you do with the Hong Kong one?
Hong Kong very expensive.
Yeah, you have to go over there and stay there, isn't it?
Have
Like
to go
Catherine
over
Tan
there.
like
They
that.
don't have
Yeah.
online one lah.
No.
Yes,
You have to
difficult.
go there one. Like
Do
Catherine
it.
Tan lah. Someone one over here, you have to stay there.
Cannot.
Never mind lah, brother. Yeah, you try again, no?
No, now you ask me what Bali term also I forget already how to do. But Connie Yu, Venerable Singkang, they sign up PhD Kelaniya.
Oh, who? Connie Yu?
Connie, our classmate lah. I think Brickfield teacher last time.
Okay.
At the age of 76 or 70, still
Wow.
to sign up.
Wow.
My
Doing PhD,
IBC.
tabik him.
Him or her?
So two of you after this also can sign up lah.
No, thank you lah. Enough of study.
Karunika cannot. I don't even have a diploma.
No lah, don't want lah. Ayah say most important thing is put things into practicality. No point having so many paper and then.
Okay lah. So
Actually, but the education is good lah. You to keep educating ourselves.
So when finish this lesson,
I know lah. When I want to go for my higher ordination in Sri Lanka, then I will take lah. Okay.
Confirm confirm. I will inform Brother Sid now. After this Saturday, we got an appointment. So later this recording, the first part.
Sister Karunika is thinking so far ahead already.
Yes, must plan correct.
Sadhu first,
must have mission and vision. Okay.
Okay. So we roughly tell you something about how to approach this lesson and what books you should refer. Then next thing is then Mahayana Buddhism, the origin, the meaning of the word Mahayana, and what we call the objective of Mahayana. So we have to discuss then how it began, where, when, practically all these things. So first thing you must know the word Mahayana Buddhism. Maha literally means great, very big. Mahabodhi, Mahakaruna, anything Maha. Then Yana, you can say is a vehicle to fetch you here and there. Yana, the things that bring you to another place, destination. Then we say Yana. So Mahayana is a great or big vehicles. Why they call it great vehicles? Because they have a very grand objective aspiration. When I enlighten as Buddha, I want to save all the sentient beings. That's their aspiration, their vow, they call. So that's why they call Mahayana, save everybody one shot, you see, out of compassion. So the ways we bring them there is something like a vehicle, Yana. So because our grand promise vow, bring everybody, so we use the word Maha. So our teaching, our school or thought, our tradition, so we call it people call them Mahayana. That's how it comes about, Mahayana. But this term Mahayana first appear in Lotus Sutta. You know Lotus Sutta in it, one of the very famous Mahayana Sutta. Saddharma, the proper Sanskrit name, they call it Saddharma Pundalika Sutta. Saddharma is Miao very good Dharma.
哦，妙法莲华经啊，也是观世音菩萨普门品的哇啦啦，isn't it?
Pundalika is a type of lily or
Yeah,
lotus.
lor.
Sat is good lah. San Hua, Miao
观华呀，they got
Dharma.
法华，they got 华严经嘛，got both.
Hua, another name Hua lah.
嗯
Miao literally translate
嗯，
into Chinese 妙法。
妙法呀，
Lianhua Pundarika Sutra.
嗯
It first appear in this text. This is very old Mahayana text that compiled about 2,000 years ago, beginning of the Christ era, you see. But not in Sanskrit first, because and not the word Mahayana is something like Mahajana, Jana. We talk about this origin of the word Mahajana. The term appears in Lotus Sutta, but not in Sanskrit, in Gandhari Prakrit. Prakrit is a form of dialect. Gandhari is the dialect spoken by people in Gandhara. Those days we call Northwest India, but nowadays in Pakistan, in the place Peshawar, the whole area, Pakistan. Gandhara, the region, those days they call Gandhara. So the dialect spoken by people they call Gandhari lah. Just like Magadha kingdom. Nowadays Bihar in it, Magadha. So dialect spoken by people called Magadhi lah, same thing lah, you know. That's why they call Gandhari Prakrit. So initially, you know, the teaching or oral transmission or memorized or spoken, not in black and white letters. So initially, when they use the word, they spoke Mahayana for the term, for the tradition called Mahayana. Later, in black and white, it becomes Mahayana. In the process of Sanskritization. This is important period whereby the initial Buddhist text compiled in local dialects, slowly been translated into Sanskrit, because Sanskrit became popular or official common language in India after that. Initially, everywhere they use a local dialect. Buddha's time, you see. Only the upper elites, they use Sanskrit. Those days they use Vedic Sanskrit. But after some time, it slowly formalized. They introduce a grammar by Palini. Correct or not? You heard the name of the Palini, grammarian, who introduced Sanskrit grammar, so it became a proper Sanskrit language. So all the initial Buddhist texts or other texts in the local Prakrit slowly translated into Sanskrit written form. So in the process, not perfect, no perfect translation. So some of the works, translation work, half mixed. So nowadays you heard of the word hybrid Sanskrit, correct or not? Hybrid is a transitional period one. Hybrid Sanskrit. Some of the terms still remain in bracket, some modern Sanskrit. So that period, the text, the translated Buddhist text is all hybrid Sanskrit. So nowadays they have a special dictionary written, compiled by Egerton, called Dictionary of Hybrid Sanskrit. If you use a pure Pali Sanskrit dictionary, sometimes you can't trace the word. That's why sometimes you see some word, Buddha, this and that. Not very sure can be hybrid Sanskrit or something like that. So now we don't talk about this. How Mahayana Jhana, Yana become Jhana or something like that because of the translation. So why, before that, we have to briefly talk about the aspiration of Mahayana Buddhists, right or not? Why they call Maha? As I told you, they have a very grand, aspiration or goal, ultimate goal. They want to save everybody so that everybody enlightened, no suffering. That's why they call Maha. So they emphasize on what? Altruism, sacrifice myself so that you're happy. I lose, never mind lah. I suffer a bit, never mind lah. So long as you are happy lah, you are safe lah. That's altruism, you see. So before their practice, before they embark on what we call, it's not Noble Eightfold Path, for the Mahayana people, practitioner, they adopt the Bodhisattvayana, Bodhisattva path. Unlike
So
early
there is no
Buddhism,
Four Noble Truths.
early Buddhism, Four Noble Truths. Theravada, two types of practices. If they follow the early sutta, they practice Noble Eightfold Path, enlightened as Arahant. You cannot say I follow Noble Eightfold Truths and enlighten as a Sammasambuddha, correct or not? But then, in a later Theravada text, for example, Charya Pitaka, Buddha Wangsa, this one our later texts are not spoken by Buddha, even though they were included in the Khuddaka Nikaya, correct or not? So these two texts, they talk about what? Advocate what? Bodhisattva path. For example, Sumedha, he vowed to practice 10 paramita with the objective of attaining Buddhahood. Correct or not? Remember Sumedha, the example.
Yeah.
So this teaching, this example is not found in early sutta,
Yeah.
but in the
The
latest.
commentary.
It's not commentary, Khuddaka Nikaya as well as commentary. Important thing, the Khuddaka Nikaya, the Buddha Wangsa and Charya Pitaka.
But later
Sumedha.
addition.
But main thing is Charya Pitaka and Buddha Wangsa. The main practice is what? They never talk about Noble Eightfold Path. They talk about to perfect 10 parami. Nowadays, still on and off, some people tell, we must practice 10 parami, 10 parami. In fact, unknowingly, this belongs to even though it's a Theravada practice, but it's a later stage. If you say Noble Eightfold Path, of course, you enlighten as Arahant. Those who want to be Sammasambuddha, they follow the later teaching, practice 10 paramita, just like the Sumedha. Before they start practicing this, they make a vow, aspiration. Then in front of living Buddha, Dipankara Buddha, make a prediction. Oh, you, Sister Juliana, 4 asankayas later and 100,000 kapyas later, you'll be enlightened as Gautama Buddha. Prediction, aspiration, sacrifice for the Buddha. For example, he lie down on the floor, all this, that Buddha, all this walk, part of the practice, part of the sacrifice for the Buddha and the Sangha. All these are later idea. Because another thing is that Sumedha, as I told you, he vowed to become, to practice and enlighten as Buddha. But at that moment, he's already qualified to be Arahant. You know, he has the ability to proceed and enlighten the Arahant. First thing, then he make aspiration. Then you have a prediction. Then you practice 10 paramita. At the end, after how many years, how many Asankaya, enlightened and Sammasambuddha. This idea, this teaching, late Theravada teaching, we call Bodhisattva Yana, Bodhisattva Pa. Okay, then Parami Theravada, 6 stages. Mahayana, 10 stages. Dasamumi. They follow Dasamubhumika Sutta. It says that at the 8th stage, there's no turning back, you know, one-way ticket already. Sure, gain enlightenment. And then at 8th stage, he acquire the ability, can choose where to have the rebirth.
What sutta is that, Brother Yap?
Dasamubhumika.
Is in the which
Mahayana.
Nikaya? Is Mahayana Sutra.
Yes. All the 10 stages, at different stage, they attain certain skill, you see. 8th stage, very important. You can choose, you can postpone your enlightenment. You can choose where to take rebirth. In what form also can. You can born in Tijang Wang Pusa, Sitikaba, Bodhisattva. I want to be reborn in the help rank. My vow, because I make a vow to 第一不空，事不成佛. All the helping must clear first, enlighten, then only I enlighten as a Buddha, as his vow. Just like early Buddhism, Lord Saka also got vow. Correct or not? Pu Xian Si Da Yan also vow. All these are vow, because all these are vow aspiration. Even Theravada also got vow aspiration. Sumedha make a vow, you see. All these are later Buddhism. That's why Mahayana idea and late Theravada idea more or less appear at the same time.
That means the Mahayana doesn't have Noble Eightfold Path lah. They don't follow.
That's why after we
Only,
they believe, they acknowledge, but they don't follow.
or they acknowledge but they don't
approach.
follow. So they follow the 10 paramitas.
Yes, that's the
Okay.
practice. That's why Mahayana, as I say, teaching, we'll talk about the word Mahayana, how it appears in the Mahayana text, right or not? Second part, teaching. Mahayana, just like Theravada, 2 types of teaching. Theravada, you have early teaching based on the early sutta. Later teaching, those texts in the Khuddaka Nikaya, commentary, Abhidhamma, 2 layer, 2 strata, old and new. Mahayana also the same. They include the teaching and practices, you see, of the early Buddhism. Okay, see next slide. And also those not recognized by Theravada, 2 groups. So 1 group, that's why the Mahayana, you say they believe karma or not? Yes, they also believe karma, rebirth, there's Patisa Samuppada, 4 normal truths. Also they believe, they acknowledge, they agree. But they on top of this, they add in their own teaching. So 2 layers, 2 types. Early teaching plus their own Mahayana teaching. Just like Theravada, early teaching based on sutta, late teaching based on those commentary, scholar monks' interpretation. Same lah. So you cannot, everybody say, oh, Mahayana is totally not Buddhist, Theravada only. Well, 2 also the same. 2 also follow early and late, early and late. Right now, the important thing is that which part you emphasize. Theravada, okay, you emphasize on early Buddhism, even though you recognize, acknowledge the late teaching also. Mahayana, also they recognize early teaching, but they emphasize on the late Mahayana's own teaching. That's all. Correct or not? So the notes here, I explain to you the term originated during the turn of the century, correct or not? In Gandhari Prakrit and was formalized in Mahayana. So this one no need to explain to you. So the compilation of ancient Buddhist called Sanskrit. This one also I explained to you. The Sanskritization, when they translated the original Buddhist text from the Prakrit to the modern, not modern today, to those prevailing Sanskrit language during that time. That's what we call Sanskritization. In between, you have hybrid Sanskrit. So this part, okay. So now we talk about the real teaching of Mahayana. You see, broadly speaking, just in general, Mahayana accept those early Buddhism, the teaching of early Buddhism. So like those Nikaya, the five Sutta Pitaka, this and that, they recognize. Whether the Tikka Nikaya, what Nikaya, the five Nikaya, they also acknowledge. They never say, oh, wrong teaching, we don't follow. The only thing is that the further third paragraph, accept, they also recognize, acknowledge Abhidhamma thought, but however, they add numerous Mahayana texts on top of the early Buddhist texts. Early one like middle way, middle part, dependent origination, four normal to karma, also okay. The only thing, now you ask them, they also talk about this, correct or not, Juliana? They also talk about four normal truth, karma, this and that. But on top of that, they also talk about preach Mahayana text or Pranamaramita Sutta, talk about pure land, talk about Sunyata. It's a mixture, yes. This is real Mahayana. You cannot say yes, 100% all wrong Mahayana. You must understand their teaching also, So at the same time, as a Theravada, you also have to know what is Theravada, what are the texts, some early, some, then you can know more or less the same. It's a matter of emphasis. That's all. You see. Any questions before we go to next?
No.
I think this one, Juliana, expert lah, this one.
What?
Expert.
What expert?
Mahayana teaching expert. You see, so now earlier on we talked about their basic text, early as well as the late text. Now we become more specific. What are those real Mahayana teaching that they have added in? So the practice-wise, they have Bodhisattvayana, as I explained to you. It emphasizes Bodhisattva path, correct or not? Aiming to attain Sammasambuddha for the benefit of all the sentient beings, because that's why they call themselves Mahayana, Maha, great, and not the Theravada or other so-called Hinayana school. They emphasize on personal enlightenment. That's why they say this Hinayana, those very selfish. I mean, those say in India lah. Even nowadays also, when I send some WhatsApp news, political news or anything, or this group fight with Kuala, my friend, devoted Theravada meditators, hey, don't send me all this. It affect my mind. I concentrate on my. Let me calm down and practice this. All this what politics, this what fighting. Don't tell me. I only concentrate, don't affect mine. I want to practice seriously. So, but if you tell the Mahayanist people, oh, this people suffer hunger, this, that, oh, it's different thought, is it? Oh, yes, I 吃鸡. Okay, we all organize a group, see how to help them. So different approach. You tell my people like my friend meditator, don't affect me. My mind cannot disturb. So in that way, that's why the Indian Mahayanis in India, those say, oh, you're very selfish because of this attitude, you know. Right or not? The response is different, you know. I mean, a normal Theravada maybe okay, not, but a serious meditator like that, it don't affect me. Don't send all this to me. Okay, you affect them, you see, because they concentrate on their own mind, their own practice, you see. That's why in those days they call this time very selfish. Because of this, what these people will get angry. They say, why you look down on me and say we are selfish? Because of this mentality, you know. You concentrate on your own personal development. You ignore all the suffering being outside. When I tell you so and so suffer, no food, this and that, fighting, struggle, sick. Ayo, this one affect my mind. Okay, we don't talk otherwise. The friend will get upset also. Don't talk about all this suffering. I mean outside suffering, others. Number 2, first, they follow a different practice, Bodhisattva path. 6 paramita, I told you in it, 10 dasabhumi, 10 stages. Within the first 4 or first 5 stages, they have perfected, they should have perfected the 6 parami, the 6 perfection, 6 virtues, you know, like dana, sila, you know, concentration, all this virtue, they should have or must have perfected first 5. That's why the Mahayana say, your arahantship only equal to our 4th or 5th stage of our practice. Our even 10 stage, 8, no need to say 10 stage, Buddha already, 7 or 8 stage already more powerful than you. We can postpone our enlightenment. You can choose a place. Choose a place, not only you know, I can help them. I can appear in Sukawati, Western Paradise, as a bird. Talk Dharma to the birds. I appear as an old man or somewhere in the moon or another planet, preach the alien there. You know, so this type of skill, you know, it doesn't mean that I appear again in this world as a man, talk Dharma to you, or yes, Brother Yap, who knows, he also transformed from the Buddha somewhere. No, can be not only anywhere, any realm, health realm or Dharma realm or Deva realm, anywhere, planet, in the moon, in the star, everywhere, aliens there, in any form, as a bird, as an animal.
Brother Yap, I heard from my Sifu, the Mahayana, when they said that the Bodhisattva is supposed to be a Buddha, you know, for example, the Gufo.
Yes, yes. We are going to talk about this.
They downgrade
Trikaya.
themselves to become a Bodhisattva because they want to save sentient beings.
Trikaya concept. 3 bodies. Sun Fasen. Okay, then we come to it. So the typical Mahayana teaching, first, they follow Bodhisattva path, 10 stages to perfect 6 paramita. Whereas the details, this and that, we're not going to talk, because unless there's a subject called Mahayana Buddhism, then we talk about the detail of Mahayana teaching, details of Mahayana practice. Because this one today, we only talk about the origin only. This one is more interesting. Maybe Juliana can give a talk on that, something like that. 6 paramita.
You look so highly on me, huh?
Of course. This the best book on Bodhisattva practice and Bodhisattva. I can recommend Hadaya's book. Hardayal. Still available. Talk everything about Bodhisattva, how to practice 10 stages to perfect 6 paramita. You refer to the book is the best book. You see. So number 2, they believe in a lot of, not only a lot of Buddha, more Buddha than the Theravada. Theravada at the most 28 as recorded in Buddha Wangsa, correct or not? Including Gautama Buddha. Earlier Buddhism, how many Buddha? 7 Buddha. 6 past Buddha, 7 Gautama Buddha. What sutta? Mahapadana. Later expanded to 28 in Buddha Wangsa. Okay, that's Theravada version. Early Buddhism, Theravada version, then Mahayana, more millions Buddhas, celestial Buddha. How many? Uncountable. Just like get the sands in the Ganges River, they call it Henhe Sa Su. You heard this one?
Correct.
The sand on the bank of river
Yes.
Ganges. So
Correct.
many, you cannot count.
Mm.
So most of this, but they know lah, Gautama Buddha, historical, the rest all in the heaven. Celestial Buddha, Amitabha Buddha, Vairochana Buddha, then Liu Li Buddha. Then you have a lot lah. Guang Yin Bodhisattva, Manjuri Bodhisattva, Samantha Bhadras Bodhisattva, a lot. All these are celestial. Even not only the Buddha celestial, heavenly Buddha, they have heavenly Bodhisattva, Guan Yin. Because they reach 8th stage, they are no more human beings, you see. They live in a sky heaven. Some of them appear in help them. Di Zhang Wang, Siti Kaba.
Correct.
Correct or not?
Correct.
This how you know.
Yeah, Di Zhang Wang is specialized for hell rank.
Specialist. There.
Specialized.
Then the third teaching, third type, their philosophy called sunyata, emptiness. This one, I don't know if I explained to you or not. In Theravada, you only talk about the 5 aggregate, so-called empty, no self. To them, they call Pugala Sunyata. Pugala, our entity, our body. But Mahayana, 2 types of emptiness. Besides the Pugala Sunyata, they talk about Dharma Sunyata. Even the Dharma, the smallest units, the Nama, Rupa, all these make of a small unit, or so-called Dharma, a small entity. All this also keep changing. Dynamic. Anatta. So even the Dharma also anatta. So they talk about 2 types of emptiness, sunyata, Pugala sunyata, and Dharma sunyata, 2 types. More than the Theravada, you see. So third type of teaching, the last teaching, they talk about Trikaya. So this one also very detailed topics. Only when you say attend a Mahayana doctrine, then only they teach you in details. But basically, Trikaya means 3 body. It's not the 3 body, the 4 head like the same in fact, not in that time meaning. It means 3 aspects. One, originally, there's one Dhammakaya exists in the universe, unseen, forever, permanent. You cannot see them, Dhammakaya. Then Dhammakaya was sent. If the earth are full of suffering being, he will send another body to take rebirth in earth. For example, they say Gautama Buddha, they sent in the form of human being to to, because as a human being, you have to behave like human. All the lifestyle, you get married, got kids, you can fall sick, you can die. So in fact, this Gautama Buddha, according to Mahayana Buddhism, was sent by the ultimate Buddha called Dhammakaya, sent to our world. So second type of body, ultimate body, and the one appear in the world, they call Nirmanakaya. Last one, Nirmanakaya. So Dhammakaya is the ultimate one. Nirmanakaya is the one who sent to everywhere to save all sentient beings. For example, called Dhamma Buddha. Then another type is Sambhoga Kaya. 报身, Chinese say 报身. First one, 法身, 报身. 报身 refer to those celestial Buddha who preach Dharma in the heaven, like the Pure Land Amitabha Buddha, Aksubhya Buddha, all this. They don't come down to our human world to help, but they only preach and enjoy their life and preach Dharma in the heaven. That's all. Now the type of Buddha, the type of body called Sambhoga Kaya. So three types. You can manifest as a celestial heavenly Buddha to teach the heavenly Bodhisattva. You can send one and assume the human being a characteristic, for example, Gautama Buddha, to help a human being. So the ultimate one who never change one, Dhammakaya. So these three aspects we call Trikaya.
Brother, in Chinese it's called what? 法身, 报身 and 化身, isn't it?
法身 Dhammakaya.
And then 报身 is
报身 Sambhogakaya.
and then another one is 化身, isn't it?
Another one I forgot what身.
化身, isn't it? 化身.
Huh?
化身, is it called 化
化
身?
身 yes. 化为 something.
It transform into something that transform into something, isn't it?
Transform something. 不是化身。
化身
something is this is 化，进化化。Transform into manifest into a human being to help a human being. It's what we call Nirmanakaya, 三身 Trikaya. Trikaya or Trikaya, I don't know. It means three. Kaya means body itself. Rupakaya. You see. So all these these four are important Mahayana teaching, Mahayana concept, on top of the teaching found in the early sutta lah. So Mahayana is a combination, early and later their own compilation. They say their own compilation. That's why they acknowledge, they agree with the early teaching. At the same time, they emphasize on their Mahayana teaching on top of that. So this is what we call Mahayana teaching. For detail, maybe you sign up with our USJ diploma, Mahayana Buddhism to be taught by Bhante Dhamapala. Single subject, never mind, few hundred ringgit, just pay him. Important, it's rare opportunity. Also, where can you find a lecture, complete lecture for Mahayana Buddhism? Not only the origin, doctrine, practices, text, everything. 15 lecture.
Our from A to Z.
15 lesson. One lesson, 2 hours solid. Plus the notes. Though you commercial, what training cost, 1 day, 2 days, you cost you 500-600, man. 1,000, man. Correct or not? This one cheap. Good. Juliana should attend.
When I started, Brother Yap, this one?
Early next week.
Early next year, so fast.
Early July, September, you better sign up for this subject. Mahayana, Bante. You sign up humanistic also can, but you don't sign up my subject lah. Never mind lah, because I've given here more or less the same lah.
Similar lah, isn't
Because
it?
it's all
Quite
weekend,
similar,
Brother Yap.
50-60% similar lah.
It's on the weekend, isn't it? The classes.
Weekend, yes.
Cannot lah, weekend a lot of
Weekend,
things.
no, you have a right to see the video recording.
Can
Because you are not taking a diploma, full diploma.
So, but is the attendance compulsory or not?
Attendant, 最多 don't want the certificate of attendant. You are not taking diploma, I say. Only the subject only.
Ayo, you want to take properly lah.
Yeah, no, don't take halfway.
Properly, that
like
mean
I mean, like,
the
what is the
6
point of
subjects.
spending so much time and then not getting any cert, you know?
Yes, certificate attendant, one subject.
But certificate attendant no use one lah.
Oh, you want, okay lah, later BA lah, you sign up lah.
Next time lah, when I
MA.
have more time lah. Now so busy
Now,
with
now
Arias,
never mind.
all the
Now
events.
it's a
Many
warming
things.
up. Never mind, warming up.
This weekend I'm going off to Indonesia already, going for a
wow.
retreat.
Yes. Subject per subject you collect. One shot you go for MA or something like that. Then you spend more time. Then bit by bit now. You're still young. When I study at time, nearly 60 years old. Right. My friend are 70 plus sign up for PhD. Not because I don't want to take, because universities no response.
Can try again, Brother Yap. Maybe things have changed. Anicca ma.
So okay. Now we introduce to you what's the meaning of Mahayana, what are the teachings, basically introduction. Now we talk about how it originated, how it began. Later we talk about where and when. Okay. Now regarding the origin, there are a few 5 or 6 theories based on Bante's notes, listed 5. Layman's theory, Mahasangika, forest hypothesis. Another thing is that Supa worship. Then people say it's a totally new movement. And so theory from here, theory from there, and it's a new school. This also another theory. Okay. Even now you ask people like Tzu Chi, some Mahayana, say, oh, we all came from the Mahasangika school. But this theory is not acceptable. Because why they claim that they came from Mahasangika? Because they want to have the same status historically, same time as Theravada. You get what I mean? Because when Buddhism Sangha first split, Saviravada and Mahasangika, correct or not? Since Saviravada now transformed into Theravada, so you Mahayana, if we say we came from Mahasangika, so we also same antiquity, same age, we call age, as old as you, correct or not? That's maybe they try to claim it this way lah, but this theory later I explain to you, it's not acceptable. So first we talk about lay origin theory. That means Mahayana started by the lay people. This one, Japanese professor Akira Hirakawa first brought out this theory. He said, oh, those days in ancient India, around first century of BCE. Or there were a lot of lay people. They were not satisfied with the monk. The monks are, after Buddha passed away, this monk, many of them, they never follow the Vinaya rule properly, lapsed already. And then they also have doubts with the original scriptures. So they compile new Mahayana scriptures. So these lay people, they are not happy with this group of monks. So they form a new movement. That's how Mahayana started. This theory.
You mean they wrote their own scripture?
Mahayana, a lot of scriptures compiled by Mahayana monk. Just like the Buddha Wangsa, compiled by whom? It's not by Buddha. Also by the
No, I mean the lay people.
No, lay people not happy with those group of monks. This because monk compile new scriptures.
Okay.
You see,
Because the monks they compile their own ones. They wrote new
second paragraph
scriptures.
begin to face many internal problems. Some of them began to question the antiquity of early scripture, and they began to compile new one. And while others began to lapse interpretation Vinaya, refer to the monks.
Refer to the monks, not the lay people, is it?
Not
Here is a bit not clear lah. I thought it's
because
a bit
unless you read the first paragraph.
No, I think Brother Yap, the second paragraph, that one, they began, maybe the they need to clarify who. So it should say, and the monks began to compile new ones.
Buddhism
The third line on second paragraph.
Fast, and the monk began to face many internal problems. Some of them, here refer to the monk, qualified. And the monk began to face many problems. Some of them, you see. Here the them, they qualified the monk, not the lay people. Later, only the lay people consider monk, this group of monk privilege to be excessive. Something like that, you get what I mean? The monk began to face a problem. What problem? Because some of the monks began to compile their own scripture. Some of the monks lapsed with Vinaya rule. That's an internal problem. Okay, so the lay people, they are not happy. They consider these monks excessive. Simply go and compile this, simply this and that. Excessive privileges. So here they refer to lay people in the third paragraph. They try to have equal rights with those monks. So they form their own group. You can compile, you can have your own activity. We also form a group. We have the same activity. It's not your own privilege. We also enjoy the same thing. That's what they mean, okay? So they form a Mahayana group. So that slowly developed into Mahayana Buddhism. That's what it means. Last one, the lay people instrumental in the formation Mahayana movement. That's how it began. Lay origin, but nobody will accept this theory anymore. This theory mainly based on the scriptures, textual evidence, no archaeological evidence to prove it. You see, to prove this theory is correct. The Japanese professor brought this this theory in early 60s, mainly based on the scripture, Chinese scripture he read and he interpreted this way. Second theory, Mahasangika origin theory.
Sorry, Brother Yap. This theory was originated by somebody, right?
Yes. First one is a Japanese professor.
Maybe Brother Yap can put in who originated the theory. Put in a footnote or something.
Akira Hirakawa.
Okay.
In the early 1960s.
The lay people origin theory.
Now not acceptable. If you do some more research, you find out more lah. If you want to find out more lah.
Okay, thank you.
Mahasangika origin theory says that, oh, Mahayana is one group split out or evolved from Mahasangika school. That means Mahasangika school give rise to Mahayana. This is what they say lah. Why? Because, oh, Mahayana, a lot of doctrine, theory, practice similar to those of Mahasangika. For example, Trikaya, doctrine Trikaya. Mahayana, they believe in Trikaya, as I told you, San Fasen. And this one came from the concept supramundane beings, according to Mahasangika. As I told you before, Mahasangika was the first school that deified, consider Buddha as a god, deify Buddha. They say Buddha supramundane, this and that. Never feel tired, utter only one word, they can explain to everything. All is a psychic power. So Mahasangika first brought up this concept. Unlike Theravada, consider Gautama Buddha as human being, correct or not? So one side human being, the other school say he's supramundane, Superman. So Mahayana also accept the theory supramundane, Trikaya, Superman was psychic power. So they argue that Mahayana also came from Mahasangika school. Second example, they quote, one of the Mahasangika's sub-school called Chaitika school. This one is popular in Southeast India. Andhra Pradesh, near Tamil Nadu, the site. This Chaitika school, sub-school of Mahasangika, they first brought up the theory merit transfer of merit. So Theravada's one theory says that Theravada's concept of merit transfer came from or borrowed from Mahasangika, Chaitika school. You see, there's a separate story lah. But merit transfer, in Mahayana, the popular also. Yes, you got a problem, anything, Guan Shi Yin can hear, divine ear. Yes, Buddha is divine ear, can hear millions, 1,000 miles away. I said, somebody, suffer, transfer merit, transform into an old man, come and talk to you, transfer merit to you, or you decide the name, Guan Yin, Bao Yu, you will be okay, or something like that, merit transfer to you. This Mahayana belief, this idea came from Chaitika school, Mahasangika school. Also, Chaitika school also believe in stupa worship. Just like Dhamma Guptaka school, stupa worship. They worship because stupa symbolize the presence of Buddha. Correct or not? Right from beginning, shortly after Buddha passed away, because enshrined with the Buddha's relics, bone. So you see the worship, you see the stupa, as though you see the Buddha in front of you. So they believe in puja, Buddha image, veneration, Buddha statue, Buddha image. So these practices are borrowed by Mahayana. In fact, originated Mahasangika school. Okay, Pure Land also adopted this practice. Then Mahasangika believed that originally our mind is pure, luminous, later influenced by the environment, this and that, then become corrupted. You see? So Mahayana school, one of the Mahayana school got Tathagata believe that they brought up this idea, the concept, Buddha nature. The Buddha nature is pure, luminous. If we practice and purify, eradicate all the refinement of Buddha, our Buddha nature, pure, luminous again, then we gain enlightened as a Buddha. This idea, Mahayana borrow from the Sangika school, pure mind. Nowadays, a lot of people talk about Buddha nature, isn't it? Pure Buddha nature. Everyone can. This idea, in fact, not 100% Theravada's idea, because nowadays people all mix up Mahayana idea, Theravada idea. They don't know where this is pure Theravada or pure Mahayana. They just use the term Buddha nature, Buddha. In fact, it came from the Mahasangika school. See? Okay. Then the last one, Mahayanists will say, oh, we believe in million of Buddha. All these Buddha or celestial they all live in heaven. So idea of celestial Buddha, Bodhisattva, numerous Buddha, in fact, all came from Mahasangika, developed a concept. So whatever the Mahayana believe, whether numerous Buddha, heavenly Buddha, or illuminous pure mind, or talk about Trikaya, three body, talk about worship stupa, transfer merit, all this you think is a Mahayana original, no? All from Mahasangika school. So they say that, oh, we came from Mahasangika school. Mahasangika give rise to Mahayana. This is one of the theories. Even today also, I talk to my friend, one of Mahayanis. Oh, we came from Mahasangika, Why? I say, don't know. Maybe they say, we are as old as Theravada. That's why maybe they are trying to tell you lah. We don't know lah. They never tell you lah. They simply just tell you we come from Mahasangika lah. Just because Mahasangika and Saviravada were the two original, the earliest Buddhist school in the history of Buddhism. Right or not? Of course, you cannot say the modern Theravada lah. So this theory nowadays people don't accept. Why? Because in ancient India, Mahayana existed. At the same time, Mahasangika also existed. So two also in existence appear at the same time. So how can you say you come from there? You see, you had nothing to do with me. I had nothing, not acceptable. You see, unless you say you come out from here, this one disappear. A disappear, give rise to B. Then you say you come from there. This one no more. But this one is already there. This one also appear independently. So even though you share some teaching, similar teaching, you cannot say you evolve from here. You split out, then it's different. You see, you evolve from there. That means just what we call butterfly, cocoon. Cocoon no more, come out butterfly. You cannot say cocoon. Myself, butterfly and cocoon also the same. It's totally different. You see now, it's one different stage. You see. So two independent school. So this theory also not acceptable. Third one, forest hypothesis. Hypothesis not a confirmed theory. That's why we call hypothesis. Guessing only lah. So this theory says what? Oh, Mahayana started by a group of forest monks. Those forest monks they prefer to stay in the jungle. Aranyavasin. Aranyavasin. Aranya is of forest, correct or not? forest-dwelling monk. They criticize those towns. The monks stay in the cities with a fixed permanent monastery. Or they don't like. They prefer to stay under a tree in the forest, inside a cave, practice what? Asceticism. Or they want to follow the lifestyle during Buddha's time, harsh lifestyle. Meditate, they come out, Pinapat, this and that. So this theory says that this group of forest monks form the Mahayana movement. They stay in the forest, they meditated there, they promote, advocate asceticism. At the same time, the Mahayana element is that they practice Bodhisattva path to perfect all the 10 virtues, 10 paramita. They hope to become Buddha as a Sammasam Buddha. Yes, an ancient day Buddha lah. Meditate, practice in the jungle. Hopefully one day you have perfected all the 10 parami. Then like Sumedha, perfected all the 10 paramita, you become a Sammasam Buddha. So this is their aspiration, their wishes. So this group of forest monk, form the Mahayana Buddhist movement. There's another theory, but the scholar like Gregory Scopen, US professor, he specialized in what? Epigraphy, Indian epigraphy, not the normal specialized in Buddhist epigraphy. That means you go around to a temple, read the inscription, carving on the wall, stupa, base, a lot of wall, pillar walls, all this. Then study. Then he couldn't find any evidence that Mahayana formed this monk, forest monk. They formed the Mahayana Buddhism. Or how this monk, any evidence, the scholar trace out. The two Mahayana book says that, but archaeological evidence, nothing. The two books are Ugra Paripacha. Ugra Paripacha. Ugra is a monk's name. Paripacha is asking, questioning. Another Mahayana text talks about the forest monk and their practices. We call Rastra Para Paripacha. So these two books describe those forest monks. They practice asceticism, they practice Bodhisattva path, 10 parami, all these things. That's why they got, from these two books, they developed this theory, forest hypothesis, but no archaeological evidence to substantiate this claim. So people also not convinced. You must have not only textual evidence, you must have hard archaeological evidence. At least we have two types of evidences. We study history, Buddhism, we look for evidences. That just like in law, you look law evidences, audit evidences, one view for you to see, document for you to see, date confirm or not, true or not, a modern date, then you backdated, relevant, not too remote. All this evidence. So only the two Mahayana texts says that archaeological hard-earned evidence, nothing. So people won't believe. For example, Asoka's 9 mission after the third council, no archaeological evidence, only textual evidence. And textual evidence, the Mahavamsa also not very strong. Certain part mythological, legendary, certain part historical. So they accepted the historical part as evidence. Same thing lah. Study subject history based on evidence. That's why the traditional method, they don't favor historical evidence. They just believe. Oh, you ask them, oh, Buddha born on Visa day Parinibbana and like that, all same day. Yes, yes, yes. My master say that. The master say that. Master. This is all these 1,000 years we follow the same method. This is what we call evidence. Anything to mention to prove that, my master. That's a traditional method. Traditional method. Tradition is different from history. History you check through, but how to prove that Buddha born in May? Buddha never say that in the sutta. He said, oh, Visuddhimagga say that. Visuddhimagga based on any hard evidence, nothing. Also, you cannot. But Chinese Mahayana text give you slight clues. That's all. The one, oh, yeah, we life of Buddha, we don't go back anymore. Otherwise, no end. How to prove Buddha born in May, pass away in May, could be March or April, because Mahaparinibbana Sutta says that when Buddha reached Sala Grove, flowers start blooming. According to the botanists, those scientists who study the flower plant, oh, the Sala tree, bloom March to April, you know. That's evidence March, April, not in May. You see? That's from the modern scientific archaeology. Visa, May, any evidence? Buddha never say that. But the Lalita Vistala, the Chinese Mahayana text, talks about the Buddha side. Oh, Buddha sit under the trees, facing east. The important evidence, he saw the bright star. Correct or not? Chinese text only say, Theravada never say. Ye tu Ming Xing. The star is what? Venus. Then now check out May, early May, will appear very bright in the sky. So you get something to back up, you see. So never mind, life of Buddha is over already. So, yeah, next theory. Theory 4. Wow. New movement. It means Mahayana started as a new independent movement. Nothing to do with Mahasangika. Not directly split from Mahasangika, or not from the group of existing monk, forest monk or something, lay people. This is totally another group. They say that this new movement can, the member follower can be a lay people or monk. They absorb teaching from various so-called Nikaya school. They give examples. So this group is something Roja lah, take here and there, form a new group. And they call it a Mahayana. Later they add in Mahayana text. You see. So, for example, Sunyata, they got this idea from Mahasangika, as I told you. The deification of Buddha. Buddha is a God Supraman, they never die. Also, they got it from Mahasangika. It seems that most of the doctrine all copy from Mahasangika. Then they say, oh, Mahayana's ideas of luminous mind, what we call storehouse consciousness. You know the Yogacara school, Wei-Si, they have a concept called Alaya Vinaya, storehouse consciousness. A new idea. This idea form developed because of the Sarvastivadins as well as the Pugadavadins idea of Pugada. So Mahayana developed. For details, when you attend Mahayana class, then they have all these detailed teachings. Now, just briefly tell you, because of the Sarvastivada's concept of moment, because of Pugalas, then Mahayana developed new concept, Alaya Vijnana, storehouse consciousness. This is Yogacara school. Mahayana got so many sub-schools also. Madhyamika school, Yogacara school, Tathagata schools. That one, not here, not today's one. Too detail, no time, too detailed. And not our topic also. So the Mahasangika also have the doctrine saying that Arahant not perfect, correct or not? Mahadeva's 5 point. Arahant not perfect. Say can digress, fall back. Today Arahant, if you don't practice, have ignore 1 year's time, no more Arahant, become a Sotapanna, something like that. 3 power, not perfect. Sometimes he'll forget this, forget that, this and that, you know. So this idea, imperfect Arahant, only Mahasangika and some of the sub-schools, they believe. The 18th school, we talk about this in it sometime. Then the second council also we talk about this in it. So these ideas, not found in Theravada. Theravada always say Buddha perfect, Arahant perfect. Right? Mahasangika is different. So this thing also influenced Mahayana. Arahant not perfect, and the highest religious goal was Buddhahood. So that's why they only Buddhahood is final, ultimate. Arahant not ultimate yet. You see, that's why Sumedha, even though he was qualified as Arahant, right? Not in the mind he qualified, but he said no point. I cannot help everybody. I want to be Buddha. I can help all the sentient beings. That passage is Mahayanic. You read Buddha Wangsa, mention that. So Buddha Wangsa regarding Sumedha got few issues you have to take note. He already can qualify that, but he aspired to help all, aspiration to sell all, made prediction, sacrifice for the Buddha, this and that. So that one also life of Buddha over. You go and revise that part. So this new movement, this theory, so far nobody say no or anything rejected this. They've been quite popular like this. Then the last one, stupa worship, started as a stupa worship, the practice of stupa worship. There's a Dharmaguptaka in the 18th school, the talk there, I told you in it. Dharmaguptaka started this practice. They say donation, offering to a stupa is better than offering to the Holy Sangha, because stupa symbolize Buddha. So again, this one linked to the layman theory, layman origin theory, Akira Hirakawa. Mahayana grew up among the order of Bodhisattva composed of lay and renunciate member. Layman theory, they are the same, because laymen, they say they also fight for equal right. Correct or not? The early, the last paragraph. Laymen thus consider among privilege to be excessive. They try to have equal rights. Right or not? In teaching, propagation, religious worship. So because of this, it comes to the last this theory, stupa worship theory. They are related lah. So layman and monk, they practice stupa worship. They manage the particular stupa. When they worship, they offer incense, offer food. They give Dharma talk there according to professors, the article we read. They after that they went round circumambulation 3 times clockwise. That's how they worship stupa, chanting, offer food, offer incense. After that Dharma talk, at the end, circumambulation 3 times, then we went off. So cleaning why all these are administered, managed by appointed people, laymen. So this group started the Mahayana movement later. So the 5 theories. So we 5 minutes relax, then we talk about the balance. Wow, quite a long one. 4 o'clock we start again. Then we talk about the praise. We talk how only so far we talk how Mahayana originated. The 5 theory, how. Now we talk about
It's
praise.
3:57 now, Brother Yap.
Huh?
It's 3:57.
Yeah, this time very long.
So we start what time?
4
Huh?
4.
3 minutes
3
break.
more minutes.
Then 5 minutes. But if
Yeah.
you can say extend to 4:30, 5 o'clock, I don't mind. You see.
Okay lah. 5 o'clock.
10 minutes. 10 minutes. If you say
Ah.
okay until 5, relax 5-10 minutes.
Okay
Yeah,
lah.
Agree or not?
okay. Can.
Cheers. Relax. Recording. Just now we talk about how Mahayana was formed. Now we talk about praise, where 2 theories. Some say start in South India, in a place called Andhra Pradesh. Some say Northwest India, somewhere near Gandhari, Kashmir, or Bactria. So the first theory, South India. Why people say South India? Because the earliest Mahayana text, Asta Pratna Paramita Sutta, one of the earliest texts was discovered in South India. You see, so you see, Mahayana must have started there lah, since the early sutta was found there. You see, so they say later only they spread to Northwest. See, then, but there are no archaeological evidences to prove that Mahayana was formed in South India. So far, no. Only texture, because the early text was discovered in South India. That's why they claim, you see. But then in Northwest India, there are a lot of these archaeological evidences. Those the Bodhisattva sculptures, those images of Maitreya, Bodhisattva, all discovered, excavated in Northwest India, especially in Kashmir, present-day Kashmir, Gandhara, those days Gandhara, now in Pakistan, some in northern Afghanistan. Those days they call Bactria. Those days there was a part considered as Central Asia. So Mahayana, this theory is more acceptable because later you have a lot of sutta. Just for example, just now I said Lotus Sutta was compiled in Gandhara, correct or not? So those Pure Land Sutta, Pure Land idea, also associated with the Persian religion called Zoroastrianism. the worship of fire, fire worship. So popular in Persia, Northwest India. Because Eastern Persia, modern day Iran, and Afghanistan, northern Afghanistan, they link together, close to each other, neighbor. That's why Pure Land, they say, founded in Northwest India, because Pure Land's concept, light, infinite life, 无量光,无量寿. Got the idea, same idea, same concept as a fire worship, Zoroastrianism of ancient day Persia. So whether this texture, similarity, or those stupa or statue of Maitreya Bodhisattva excavated there, all points to northwest. You see, so this theory is more acceptable. In fact, modern scholars, most of them also believe Mahayana originated in northwest India. A lot of evidences, not only the concept, similar concept, the text compiled there, the sculpture, the statues of Mahayana Bodhisattva, all found in Northwest India and not in South India, you see. Other evidences, for example, the modern writer, Lamotte, Liu Xingru, now based in USA. They say from all the Chinese Mahayana texts that mention all these spices, the goods, jewelries, can be found in, can only be found in Central Asia, Northwest India. Liu Li Guang, those jewels, not in South India, in Central Asia, Afghanistan, those mountainous area, correct or not? Rubies, all these things. So since the text, Mahayana text mention all these commodity, jewelry, gems, all from North India. So Mahayana text, Mahayana Buddhism should be most possible, likely that originated in Northwest India. Right? There's other evidences. Lamotte, the scholar Lamotte also says that Chinese record 法显 all these 玄奘 mention Mahayanis predominant in the north and none in the south, Magadha. They went to northern India, Kashmir, saw a lot of this Gandhara, Mahayana monks. A lot. South India at the time, dominated by the Theravada monk and other Hinayana schools, other Nikaya schools, you see, and not Mahayana. You see. So other evidences all pointing at the northwest. So where now more or less we have some idea. Then we talk about the early practice of Mahayana Buddhism. From the just now the two Mahayana texts, Ugra Paripacha and Rasna something in it. They talk about the early days. Those monks, Mahayana monk, they stay in the jungle, forest monk. They were forest ascetic. They practice asceticism. They practice bodhisattvayana. No. So that was the early practice, no different from the other Hinayana school, other Nikaya school. You see, the early Buddhist Nikaya monks also practice the early teaching, Four Noble Truths, karma. They also wander here and there. That's why early Mahayana, their lifestyle, their practices, apart from the Mahayana text, they believe that the rest more or less the same as the Nikaya schools. You see. Another thing is then early Mahayana emphasize ascetic practice, forest dwelling, deep state of meditation. When they stay in the forest, why? They want a conducive environment, quiet, peaceful for them to practice meditation. You see. So it's nothing to do with a lay origin theory. That's why origin theory also say the outside stupa worship only, but it's different from the ascetic practice. You see. So early practice are more or less same as others Nikaya schools. One thing, doctrine also more or less the same. Practice also more or less the same, except some they read some Mahayana text. That's all. So the U.S. professor Scopen, he studied a lot of this epigraphy, as I told you. He studied all the inscription, those carving, the lettering, the wording inscribed on the wall, on the stupa. He study all this. Then he discovered, he came out with this theory. Oh, early Mahayana, in fact, they are a group, a federation. So many group join together. All this group, different group, they study Mahayana text. They call this what they call book cult. You see, modern day, not modern day, even modern day. Later when Buddhism spread in China, they also have the same practice. Oh, Fa school, they only study Lotus Sutta. Awatangsaka sect, Huayan Zhong, they only study Awatangsaka Sutta. Pure Land School, only, not to say 100%, mainly emphasize on Pure Land Sutta. 无量寿经, Infinite Buddha, all this. So different sect, different Mahayana school, they emphasize on their particular group of books, type of books. Right or not? That's why in China there were so many schools, so many zhong, mi zhong or what zhong, not because of the ordination or lifestyle different, emphasize on different Mahayana texts, book count. This one you can trace back to ancient practice in India by those Mahayana monks. Different Mahayana monks, they emphasize different books called book count. So all these books are all Mahayana books, So besides the standard early sutta, as I say, they compile this Mahayana text. They prefer certain type of philosophy. Some prefer Pure Land philosophy, chanting Amitabha. Some believe in emptiness, sunyata. Then they have a group of texts to suit those followers. Pure Land Sutta suit different group of follow Mahayana. All these are different cow group, Right? Some prefer Lotus Sutta. So different monk, different monastery, they have different type of monk, Mahayana monk. They prefer this book because the leader preach these few books to the group of monks there. Another temple, they read Pure Land book, or they talk about Pure Land teaching. Then another group somewhere, Sha'alam, they read only the Pratna Paramita book, emphasize on what? Perfection of wisdom, talk about emptiness, this and that. So many different monks, different place, read different Mahayana text. Apart from besides those early teaching, they emphasize certain. So it's a confederation, whole group of individual temple that specialize in different Mahayana book. So these theories are brought by Scopen. He say early Mahayana center on a number of book cult. Groups of followers, different groups, you see, as plural, who study and worship particular sutta. So they practice what? After studying, preaching the book, before that they have to bathe, wash up, clean, then only the whole book. After that, they praise on the altar, they worship it. Then in China, they copy sutta, you know, Chao Jing, Shao Jing. All these are meritoriously preaching all the Mahayana text, worship the text, put on the altar there, put praise there, worship, Chao Jing. All these are meritorious texts, or the ancient practice by all these book cult. Cult here is not a bad word, you know, not like deviated word. It's some specialized practice, cult. Nowadays people always say, oh, cult, very bad. Those actually it's not, it's referred to not the mainstream practice. We call cult, not the mainstream, not widely recognized practice. A small group do this, small group cult. You see. So those early practice, when Mahayana about to form, we call a period of proto-Mahayana. Proto, transitional stage, fermented stage. They practice all this cult, book cult. Okay.
Brother Yap, what do you mean by flags here? Is it Chinese you call pan?
Huh? Sorry?
The flag here, there you, the flag here, you say incense, flags and bell. The flags here, does it mean pan? Chinese you call pan.
Tan.
The one got one big piece like that.
They translate
the,
as a flag lah. Sometimes they have bell, ding ding.
all the Pusat name or Buddha's name like that, isn't it?
Yes. All the Mahayanas are very.
They like this thing one.
All these things lah.
The hang all around.
All originated in India lah. Those Mahayanese practice lah.
Okay.
Incense, all these things lah. Tan xiang lah, you know, tan xiang incense lah.
Okay.
All this to them very famous. All originated. Chao Jing lah, copy sutta lah, worship sutta lah. Must wash your hand first lah, you know, before you hold it. All this famous Mahayana practice those days.
Yeah, they say you have to clean your body first. Cleanse and then brush your teeth, everything before you do something.
All this not started in
like that
China, you know, started in India those days. That's what Professor Scopen say lah. Early Mahayana, they practice all these things. Book cult, worship the sutta book. They specialize in this book, that book. Specialize in Lotus Sutta, Fa Fa Zhong. So your group called Fa Fa School in China. Special. If you read Awatangsaka Sutta, or your group called Hua Yan Zhong, you know, this and that lah. Okay. You see, these books they is associated with specific text. It's a loose federation. So Mahayana, those say is something like that lah. But all this book not Nikaya, early Sutta, Pitaka. Here they refer to the Mahayana text. Okay. And how Mahayana text was compiled. This one we don't talk here lah. Maybe in proper Mahayana class. Mahayana literature, how Mahayana text was compiled. Then the next issue is a lot of people nowadays say, oh, Mahayana, formation of Mahayana is a type of schism, very bad karma. Yes, like my friend say, very bad karma for Mahayanis. I said, no, you don't know what's Mahayana. Mahayana form was not, Mahayana formation, Mahayana is not because of the what? Vinaya, different Vinaya practice. Correct not? When we talk about 18th school, why schism happened? Mainly because of different interpretation of Vinaya. At least 4 of them had to leave, form another group, because they have to decide Vinaya on the Uposatha day. Different interpretation, they don't mix. Even today also, they don't mix. Oh, you belong to a different group. different group because we have different interpretation, understanding of Vinaya. Or since you have 4, you can live form your own group. If you have 2 or 3, have different idea. Too bad lah. You have to join us lah. Sangha Raji. It's not Sangha Beda. Sangha Beda is split. Raji, different opinion only. So it still stay back. So now Mahayana. Why Mahayana is not because of schism? Because Mahayana itself has no formation is because of the doctrine. Mahayana text is not because of Vinaya. Mahayana itself has no, they never form a need, compile their own Vinaya. You know, a lot of people say, oh, Mahayana got the Vinaya. Their Vinaya, they follow the Dhamma-Guttaka Vinaya. The Eastern, the Chinese one, follow Dhamma-Guttaka Vinaya. Tibetan, they follow Muda Savastivada Vinaya. So the school, name of school, you know lah, how this school will form. I explained in the 18th school already. That's why 18th school, the lecture had to come earlier than Mahayana, so that you can remember. So in India those days, those monks who study Mahayana texts, as I say, they study Mahayana text everywhere in a different text. Those monks are actually Nikaya schools monks. They ordain under different school. There's a Theravada school, Theravada ordinate under Mahasangika. Those monks, some monks ordinate under Savasivada, some ordinate under Dhamma-Guttaka. So all these monks are different monks. They stay in different temple, different Nikayas temple, but they also study Mahayana text besides the early sutta lah. That's why. So all this they call them Mahayana monk. But then monastic Vinaya, the lineage, they still follow the original lineage when they were ordained the time. Understand? What evidence? First, Xuan Zhuang. Xuan Zhuang, when he visited India, he noticed the temple there, some, not all belong, say for example, this one, Theravada temple, Brickfield or something like that. But they found out, some of the monks, 100% Theravada, they read Theravada text. But others, besides Theravada, they read Mahayana text. You see. But they all stay together in the same temple. Why they call them Mahayana? Because besides the Theravada text, they read Mahayana text. They favor Mahayana philosophy. But they stay happily together in the same temples. You see. So that was a situation when Xuan Zhuang went to India at the time. So Mahayana, when we talk, is this school, particular Buddhist school, is a Nikaya school, is a special lineage, which means that school has a proper apparatus. That means they have got a system. Or when you want to become a monk, you must ordain under our Theravada's method of ordination. You read Theravada text, Theravada method of ordination, like that. Theravada's robe, what color? Because those say some not yellow, some brown, some orange, some bright yellow, slightly about red color, different. So all this we call lineage, the tradition. Particular Nikaya school, they have their own standard procedure, belief, tradition, the text, you see. That is called a particular school. Mahayana, different, there's so many schools, different Mahayana text. They follow different monks, different lineage. But Mahayana itself as a whole group, they don't recommend a specific standard or Vinaya rule for Mahayana. Of course, from nowadays, they standardize it lah. Nowadays, they follow Dhamma-Guttaka. But during those days, all different. As I told you, different Mahayana, the monk can be ordained under Theravada, can be under Mahasangika in those days, you see. That was a situation in India those days. So the monk, though ordained, paragraph 2, ordained under different Nikaya, different sects, Theravada or Mahasangika. But they read Mahayana texts. They have Mahayana philosophical idea, Mahayana teaching, and they read because they read Mahayana text. So in ancient India those days, this monk, even though they ordained under the Nikaya school, but they have different philosophical view. Nevertheless, they stay together. Many of them may have the same monastic code, but they read, beside their own teaching, they also read Mahayana texts, different Mahayana texts. That's all. That was a Mahayana Buddhism, Indian Mahayana Buddhism. That's why you have, when people say, oh, nowadays that Mahayana different from the Indian Mahayana. Be careful. And the modern Chinese Mahayana is different from those ancient Indian Mahayana. Practice-wise also different. The lineage also different. Now they standardize Dhamma-Gotaka, but not pure Gotaka also. Nowadays they also modify. So you understand, early Mahayana is not a school by itself, you see, only a separate teaching book out, group of book out. But lineage-wise, ordination is different matter to them. So Mahayana became prominent in India only after 5th century. Before that, all very loose book out, as I told you. So later, after the 5th century in India, so Mahayana became a very powerful standard movement. There were two main groups. One emphasized on emptiness, teaching emptiness, because they read so many different types. They have a Pure Land, only believe in chanting Abhidhamma, and then born in Western Paradise. One group. Another group, very powerful group, they believe in concept of sunyata, philosophy sunyata, emptiness. They emphasize on a book called Prajnaparamita literatures. This group of Mahayanis, they call Madhyamika school. And then another group of school, they call Yogacara school. They Xuanzhuang, follow Yogacara teaching. They believe in meditation, consciousness, mind make body, alaya consciousness. This group we call Yogacara. For detail, you only learn in the proper Mahayana class, not here. We just briefly tell you. Later, Mahayana developed into so many schools, whether Pure Land school, Madhyamika school, Yogacara school, Tathagata school. All this belongs to the umbrella term Mahayana Buddhism. Yes, Nikaya, you have Theravada school, you have Dhamma-Gotaka, you have Mahasangika, and so on and so on. Mahayana also has so many schools. In China,
Oh, no battery, Brother Yap. Ay,
哎呀，講下，我哋黑眼瞓咗。
I'm doing other things.
I stop first.
Hi, Sister Visakha. Are you ready to travel?
you can see changes the slides or not?
No, now Karunika is sharing the slide.
Oh, Only two more, you know.
Two more set. This is the
Yeah.
second last one.
Yeah, two more ni.
Use this one. Karunika is sharing. Early Mahayana.
In fact, the last one already. Just now I say later development of Mahayana. Now we have 4 important schools: Pure Land Group, Mahayana, Madhyamika, that emphasize on emptiness philosophy, Yogacara, Mayoni School, then Tathagata, Mahayana, emphasize on pure Buddha nature. About detail of the teaching of the 4 schools, you refer to another class. Then this Mahayana school disappeared together with other Nikaya school after when the Muslim invaded India. Finally, 13th century, all schools, Buddhist school, whether Mahayana school, Nikaya school, all disappeared. No more. Except some follower lah, escaped to Tibet, Nepal, South India. That's all.
Brother, why disappear? How the thing happened?
Muslim, as I say, Muslim attack, invaded by Muslim.
That means Muslim come in or the
Burn, chop the head, burn the temple. For example, Naranda, burn off.
They cannot run away, man. They cannot
That's why
hide.
very few of them.
They
If you say when and run away, how come in Second World War, how many million people die?
They were killed. They burned down the whole Nalanda.
Yes.
I
Then
think 10,000 monks
They,
there, right?
they surrounded the whole
Monastics.
temple. How to run? Right or not? There were few thousands, how many 10,000, 20,000 armies surrounded. You cannot escape. So either chop and burn, except 1 or 2 is a monk left there. The rest of people all ran away.
But the reason why they don't want Buddhists to be there is because they don't want other religion, other belief.
Yes, their belief.
They want everybody to be in Muslim.
Something like that. So the last slide situation. Just now we say, those days in India, Mahayana belongs to so many monks, different ordained in different lineage, correct or not? But only thing different is that they read Mahayana texts. They have a different philosophical view. That's what they call Mahayana. And then different Mahayana group that study different Mahayana texts. So overall, the whole gang group book out together we call Mahayana movement. You see, but now later the situation changed when Mahayana spread to China, Korea, or Japan. Slowly, they developed their own different type of Mahayana. Say in China, because I say they have so many different type of Vinaya, Nikaya school, Mahayana. The movement itself, they don't have their own Vinaya because only Buddha can proclaim a rule, correct or not? So since you form this new movement, you cannot out of nowhere gather all the Mahayana people and form a separate group and a separate Vinaya text, cannot. You see, so in China, the emperor give an order, you have to choose one type of Vinaya, Dhammaguttaka. So they have the emperor tell you, you follow Dhammaguttaka rule, you follow the different dress code, robes different. Even though hello, who's that? Even though in Far East, they follow the Nikaya Vinaya rule, Dhammagutaka, but they have their own distinct tradition. Dress, robe different, meal also different, collect ang pao also. Right or not? It's different from Dhammaguptaka rule, because Dhammaguptaka rules and the Maha and the Theravada are quite similar. In India, they all consider as a brother, sister, abang ale, same lineage, same family. Correct or not? Because 18 school there, I told you, Mahasangika one lineage, Saviravada another lineage. So Saviravada, Dhammagutaka, Savastivada, all same lineage. So in India, even though you're Dhammagutaka or Savastivada, you cannot say, oh, after 12 o'clock, you still have your meal, or you accept money. All these are illegal, as you know, illegal. But later when spread to China, totally different already. So when you talk about Indian Mahayana and the modern day Mahayana, totally different concept. Maybe the teachings still precept, but the practices different already. That's the last slides. I just now with 2 slides, finish off the whole thing in it. So any more questions?
And
Huh?